going to learn the 3 parts to a beautiful song, A Pirate Looks at 40 by Jimmy Buffett. Part number 1 is simply this, the intro. Okay, so the overall rhythm that I'm going to be using is down, down, up, down, up for the entirety of the song, but especially the intro. So in the intro, I'm playing a G major, and I'm playing it in a very specific way. My 3rd finger on the low E 3rd fret, my 2nd finger on the A string 2nd fret, and my 4th, my pinky, on the high E string of the 3rd fret. And what that allows me to do, it allows me to get to this little chord here, okay, in which I'm playing essentially kind of an A minor 7 in here, but keeping the walls of my G major, okay. So what I'm doing is I'm playing a G, and on the very end, I'm going to be getting you into this chord here. So this right here is my 2nd finger on the D string, 2nd fret, and my 1st finger on the 1st fret of the B string, keeping the open G. Isn't that nice? So just practice going back and forth there. It's a lot of the magic. You can really kind of put that in anywhere, but essentially definitely, do the intros and maybe even some interludes using that method in between the vocal is what I would suggest. Specifically what I'm doing is I'm doing 1 measure of G just by itself. And then I'm going to do the 2nd one and grab this guy on the last beat. On the 4. Right? So as long as you're playing with that, that's going to sound wonderful. If that's too difficult, feel free to simply use your 1st finger only and keep your 2nd finger here. It kind of gets that similar effect, okay? That's the intro and interlude. Let's go and talk about the main meat of this song, 95% of what you're going to need to know, which is the verse, okay? So the verses are simply just repeating and repeating and repeating. There really is no chorus, which makes our life easy. So here's what that looks like. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm doing 4 rounds of G major. So 4 measures. And 3 rounds of C major, so kind of unusual. 1, 2, 3. And then back to 1 measure, a single measure of G. Measure of A minor 7, which is simply the open A, 2nd fret D, open G, 1st fret B, open high E. By the way, my thumb is muting that low E. So 1 measure of that. And then we share a measure with a G over B and an A minor 7. That G over B, you can play in a couple different ways. You're seeing me simply fret the A string, 2nd fret, and the B string, 3rd fret, with D and G open. So those middle 4 strings are your main piece. I'm going to mute that low E, whether it's your thumb or your 1st finger, and I prefer you mute that high E as well. So whatever way works for you. You can always do this method here with the pinky on the high E string 3rd fret. That's cool too. You'll see me doing this, or in some way, whatever works for you, and an A minor 7. And I'm going to strum those 1 down strum each, although you can decorate those up and strum a little more than that, but that's kind of part of what makes it great. And then finally, 2 Gs. Cool. Now, the only other part is really just this kind of outro. I'm not going to get too deep into that because you can pretty much use your ear now that I've taught you the verse and assess how it goes. But more or less, in the very, very end, just a few times, you're going to hear him go from this part we just covered. Again. You see what I'm doing? Let's go one more. Isn't that nice? So essentially, he's going to do this thing 3 times. The A minor 7 section for 1 measure, G over B to A minor 7, sharing that measure, and then 2 measures of G. I'll do that a few times with the exception of that last time in which he'll just simply end on a G major. And that's it. That's Pirate Looks at 40 in standard tuning. If you guys were confused at all, please become a Patreon member, and I've got a nice little guide breaking down exactly how this is structured, how it works, rhythm, chords above every lyric, all that stuff. Thank you.